It's time. The button has been mashed. Hold on, I got to mash this other button too. Where is it? All right, there we go. Hold on, let's see if this works.
Well, she's a counting.
Come on now. Is it live? Are we live on Instagram?
Chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, boom. Let's
there,
see.
I see live. There we go.
All right.
All right.
Hi,
everybody. Oh, look, Lex is here. Hi.
Hello.
All right, let's get this party started, shall we?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Rick.
I'm Dan.
I'm George.
And we are Queer Magnolias,
the podcast.
In each episode,
we're going to talk about everything from growing up queer in the South to the issues that are affecting our community today,
with a little bit of fabulous sprinkled in along the way.
So join us for an all-you-can-eat buffet of queer joy,
mixed in with the occasional bitch fest,
but always served with the spiciest tea.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead, George.
Quote one of my favorite movies of all time, The Color Purple. Harpo, who these women?
Well, I'm surprised you didn't make my eyes bloodshot. I'm thankful, though.
It's so funny. I actually remembered at 10 after 5 today. I was like, damn it. I was supposed to update the intro. So I very quickly banged that out. And I'm like, George is going to have a meltdown. And I can't wait.
Well, did you get
everyone? Goodbye.
But I'm officially putting that one in the categories too, so you can vote on that one when it's done.
Oh boy, okay, yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna make a note to work on that this week. The past couple of weeks has just been, we've had a reduction in workforce and need to hire a couple of people, and it's been really busy. So sorry. Yeah, I know you can relate. Anyway. Lex grew up watching The Color Purple. Yeah, we did too. Yes, so we could quote it backwards and forwards. That and Steel Magnolias. So don't get me started on a Steel Magnolias run. I could go for 20 minutes on that.
Please don't get her started.
Please.
I tortured you guys. Remember that Easter Sunday? I tortured you with like screenshots from the movie I was watching, and I was like live tweeting you guys via text.
I'm still in therapy over that.
That was a lot of fun for me. So thank you for indulging me.
We're glad it was. We just muted you, hon. It wasn't that big of a deal.
I believe it.
Yes, please do.
Shall I mute him now, George?
Well, more than 3 minutes, sweetheart. So let's give her another 2.
All right, that's a deal.
So what's going on in the world, Dan?
Oh, well, it's a bunch of fun stuff, some good, some bad. So I'll start off with a little something good. It was really nice to see the LGBTQ plus representation at the Oscars last night.
1,000%.
It really was. You want to give a little rundown, Rick? Because I know you were a little more invested. I was there, but you were a little more invested in it.
Well, first of all, we have to talk about that opening number for between Cynthia Ariana and Ariana Grande. I am sorry, but that was show-stopping. You should not lead with something that amazing because there's nowhere to go after that. And they just brought the house down. It was phenomenal. And Dan, I watched it how many freaking times last night and just was screaming my head off. And it actually kind of moved us to tears a little bit too, because it's just so powerful. And Cynthia Ariana, my God.
Yeah.
I'm mad she didn't win the Oscar, but man, that girl's talent is just unmatched in this industry. It is unbelievable.
Robbed.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that she's what I would still call up and coming, because I mean, it isn't like she's been around 40 years or whatever, and this is her 87th farewell tour. She should just be getting started. Right? I wasn't going to call names, but there were several of them on those, lifelong tours, and I don't blame them. Money's money, but Cynthia is at a nice place in life where she's really, really just getting to be well known. and her vocal prowess is just amazing. And Ariana Grande, besides needing a carrot or a celery stick, she looked and sounded magnificent.
I mean, I gotta say, and I've never been an Ariana Grande fan, but the way she showed up for this film and every single thing that the graciousness that she exudes when she's talking to people, and the way that both Cynthia and Ariana support and hold up and prop up one another, it is really inspiring. I just absolutely have come to love the both of them more than I could probably put into words.
Well, try, dear. Try to put it into words.
I'm just
later, hon. Later.
I will work on it. I will work on it.
Podcasts rely on words.
Right.
Well, I don't have any at the moment, so somebody else talk.
All right. So now on to some bad news, because we're going to have plenty of bad news forever, and then I'll follow up with one more good news. So
I like this sandwich you're making, Dan.
That's right. That's right. So we get the good stuff out of the way to begin with, which is really nice, or we bring the good stuff. Now, the Orange Turd has fired Amy Paris, who was the second highest ranking trans person in federal government. Paris oversaw the organ donation safety unit. But of course, that's not important. He needed to get rid of her. So, off she goes. Thank you. I think she had served during 5 separate administrations back to back, but no longer. So it's just like, you know what? Why not? And then the governor of Iowa, whose name I didn't write down because I don't give a fuck about her, pardon my language, signed into law a bill that ends trans civil rights in Iowa. It is the first state in the nation to pass a law specifically banning a particular class of people from being protected.
These people exist. They're human beings. I don't understand how we make them subhuman. It's mind-boggling to me. And I know that the cruelty is the point, but it's just like, God, at what point are you able to sleep at night?
Well, and what I'm still not seeing is a groundswell of people that are not LGBTQ plus yelling out loud. I mean, every person of color in this country should be worried the fact that they're going to be sitting in the back of the bus again. I mean, exactly how far will it have to affect everyone before other marginalized groups get on board and say, look, together we need to stand, because we marched with Martin Luther King Jr. We've been a proud supporter of Planned Parenthood for years and years and years. We need everybody to be on board with this, because unless we have a big enough voice, it's not going to change.
And go ahead, George.
Because I do think the point, like you said, Dan, is like, how far back exactly do y'all want to go?
Precisely.
It's interesting. It's frustrating. There's all these things that I have to say, but more than anything, I think the MAGA conservative, right-leaning Republican, whatever you want to call them and loop them into, there was an article that came out in, I think, the New York Times about a year or so ago that talked about how they had tried all these different topics and points and things to see what was going to stick, and nothing stuck to the wall. They lost the war on gay marriage. That was over. It was already accepted across the country, and they were not going to win that. What they learned was that attacking trans people, in particular at the time, trans people in sports, but now that has since grown, that's what stuck with people. That's what got in, and that's what they started digging at, and just really have created this backlash across the country. And that is why they're so adamant and so fervent about just doing as much as they possibly can. And you hear, there was something I saw on social today about some I wish I'd taken his name down. He was talking about how women in sports and females in sports are no longer going to be a thing soon because all these men are playing in sports. And I'm like, dude, That is not happening, and you need to stop ginning up all that fear. And I get so frustrated with it, but I know that's the point. That's what they're after. So, ugh. But anyway.
Well, it is. And, I think as a society in the past, let's say when I was young, which was a long time ago, we were
girl.
I
don't know if we can go back that far.
But
that's when the world was black and white, right?
Well, you're gonna be black and blue in a little bit if you don't shut your mouth. Let's be calling a spade, hon. You know what I'm saying to you now. But back when I was a little girl in pigtails, education was important. It didn't matter your skin color. Every parent wanted their children educated. It seems as almost as if we've gone the exact opposite way. The dumber somebody is, the bigger platform this country seems to give them. And people just say the dumbest shit and people accept it. I'm like, do a little homework. Google may not be our best friend for, taking things off their calendar, but you can still use it as a search engine to educate yourself if you're too stupid to go to school or to the library. Don't get me started. Don't get me started now. So now on to the good news, which I told you I'd follow up with the good news. And if you take my good news, I will
I'm not going to take your good news. Before you finish with the good news, there's one thing I do want to talk about. I decided to call this episode Tariff-ied Yet, because I don't know if you know, but tomorrow, Donnie Dumpy Pants is going to die on this hill of tariffs, and the tariffs get imposed starting tomorrow on Mexico and Canada. Starting at 25%. And this is just, he is going to die on this hill. It's just, this man, what? I'm sorry.
Well, if this is the hill that's going to kill him, I wish this hill.
Then so be it. Exactly.
If we get to the top of the hill very quickly tomorrow, by lunchtime would be preferable. So that way I don't have to wait all day long for the news.
Lunchtime East Coast time, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, yes, 100%. Hell, we can even make it Greenwich Mean Time for all I care. I mean, that would be nice to roll out of bed, news to roll out of bed too. So
I don't understand why he's so adamant to do this. It's not going, like, all the stock started dropping. I think we had the worst stock market day today that we've had, and he's adamant to do this. He just doesn't care.
So he is trying to prove that his little tiny hands can control the world. That is exactly what he's trying to prove, and he doesn't really care within reason who it hurts. So these tariffs, I think we talked about this before, but only the shell of a Chevrolet and a Ford is made in this country. The integral parts on the inside are made in Mexico and then shipped across the border and assembled here in the U.S. So nobody buying a GM car will have a radio because the tariffs will be so high, GM won't put a radio in the car. It's not going to bring manufacturing back to this country. It is just beyond ridiculous. We have not manufactured a television in this country since the early 80s, and I know this. Zenith was the last television brand in this country, and that was in the early 80s. Every television since then has been made in China, and we have imported it. So put a tariff on it. Who cares? I don't care if Middle America has a 60-inch television or not. If they can't afford it, a new TV in the trailer park, so be it.
We'll go back to TVs being a piece of furniture. Giant.
Oh yes. With the remote that actually has the cable hooked to the TV.
That's right. Or rabbit ears or what. But the thing is,
remember the antenna? You had to turn the thing on top of the TV and it turns the antenna on your house.
Yes. But those kinds of things are so. People are like, oh, yeah, give it to Mexico, give it to Canada. It isn't going to affect them as much as it's going to affect us, because don't think that China isn't watching, because all China has to do is say, you know what, 30% tariffs. This country would come to its knees. China wants to be the biggest power in the world, just like Tiny Hands does.
We're about to enter the find out phase of FAFO. And a lot of people are going to have a very rude awakening, I feel like, in the next 6 months.
What?
All right. Sorry. I just wanted to mention that real quick. Now, please finish this up.
Well, no. So now me and all the audience has to be worried about tomorrow. Thank you, Rick. That's very nice.
You're welcome. I'm just doing my part.
Y'all, I'll give you Rick's personal email address. Don't do the queermagnolias@gmail.com. Go straight to Rick. So our girlfriend Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark,
Oh,
donated her Tesla to NPR as a thank you, Elon. That's a nice thing to see somebody with enough money to do that, but she donated her car to NPR.
and didn't she have put on the side of the car Elon sucks or something like that?
Yeah, before that was her first act of defiance. And then the second one was she donated her car yesterday. I'm like, go ahead, I love it.
We love Miss Elvira.
What do we call them now? Swastilas?
Yes.
That's the truck for sure. But yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to give somebody the agency. So, all right, I'm done with the news, children.
All right, Georgie Pooh. How do we keep ourselves sane in this with all this news?
Well, here's the thing. I feel like it's getting a little harder because even for someone who wants to kind of tune out and not listen to a lot, just, not be plugged in and listen, like you can't bury your head in the sand, or maybe you can. I don't know. But it's really getting very hard to not hear things. Personally, I would like not to hear things, but then I joined this podcast and I hear Dan.
Whoopsie.
I think the world is becoming, in a way, well, not in a way, it's becoming very me. So I just tell people, look, take care of you. And that means what you need, baby. What do you need? What do you need in this moment? Is it Haagen-Dazs? And then get yourself some Haagen-Dazs. What do you need? Because it's not getting better tomorrow. Let's be real. It's not going to get better in maybe 6 months, like Rick said. I don't know. So the only thing I can really tell people is ask yourself what you need in this moment and what can you give yourself, and then give it to yourself. Because, girl.
Amen.
Fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a bumpy ride.
And my advice is to just try and look towards the positive. And for me, that positive is there is going to come a day when I wake up to that obituary. There will come a day to where I wake up to that obituary. And when that comes, that is going to be the most joyful day for me.
A day of reckoning.
So it will come. I don't know. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But
keep eating them French fries and those Big Macs, honey.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
And
McDonald's, bring back beef tallow. Bring it back.
That's exactly right. All right. So we'll move on over to the QMP glow up. So I wanted to, if you're done, George, I'm sorry.
Yeah, girl, that's all I got.
Yeah. All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll get through it. That's why we're here. And I agree with you. I'm I have been trying to turn it off for forever and ever. And then when we decided to do this, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to be tuned into it at least once a week. So, but that's fine. I love that Dan's bringing the new Mater sandwich.
Yes, I do. I like it too. Like I told Dan the other week, I was like, girl, I get my news from you.
Well, next week I'm gonna try to bring all good news. So it is possible. We just I have to dig for it.
Perfect. So in the glow up section, I did want to sort of shout out and highlight a friend of the pod, Mr. Greg Hernandez, who has a website called Greg in Hollywood, and I just happened to notice in yesterday was Karen Carpenter's birthday, and he posted a little article about it and talking about the legendary Karen Carpenter, who would have turned 75. And if you're queer and of the community, you've heard of Karen Carpenter, or if you've ever been to a karaoke night, you've definitely heard somebody singing a Carpenter song without a doubt. So
if you're heterosexual and of a certain age, you know who the Carpenters are.
It's all very, very true. So anyway, just wanted to take a moment to celebrate her brilliance and also to bring a little shout out to Greg. We love you, Greg. So,
and if you have never seen Todd Haynes' very first film titled Superstar, which is the Karen Carpenter story told with Barbie dolls, it is
I I
available
love that. We should get a link and post that if we can find it.
on YouTube because, of course, they would never actually get the rights to all the Carpenter songs that are in it, or probably Mattel's not going to be like, yeah, use Barbie dolls to
Right.
anorexia, but it's amazing.
Well, if we can find it, we'll share the link. Timo, stay off my skirt about it.
So it's easy to find on YouTube. Todd Haynes, superstar.
Perfect. Also, I want to talk about another moment from the Oscars last night that I was kind of saving for my section, and the queer, another celebratory queer moment, and that is Mr. Paul Tazewell, who was the very first Black man, and he's an openly gay man as well, but he was the very first Black man to win an Oscar for Best Costume Design, and that was for all of his work on, it's my absolute favorite film ever right now, Wicked. It is just, I think I've seen Wicked 6 times, and I scream every single time. It's just so phenomenal, and everybody.
George, I thought he was going to say Substance. I don't know how we got Wicked. I thought he was going to say Substance.
The Substance? No.
The Substance was not probably. I don't know. That did win an award. What did it win? I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
Makeup. Original makeup.
Yep.
Original makeup.
But I was very happy to see that. And here's a little something you may or may not know about Mr. Paul Tazewell. He is a graduate from the North Carolina School of the Arts. Oh. He also went to the Tisch School in New York, but he went to the North Carolina School of the Arts. So I'm very happy to see that.
I'm guessing.
Where's he from originally?
I'm going to say it's probably not originally from North Carolina.
Well, I did not go that far. So let me hold on. Just talk about yourselves for a minute, and I'll find out.
Dan, are you watching the new season of White Lotus?
No.
Rick, are you watching the new season of White Lotus?
I am, and I'm so bored. So Paul is from Akron, Ohio. So,
well, that is not North Carolina.
It is not.
It's in the vicinity, though.
It ain't. It's Ohio. Which I like some parts of Ohio, just not Akron. Sorry, Akron.
Sorry.
For all you listeners living in Akron, I apologize. I must love Akron. I'm sure we have so many listeners in Akron. Akron.
I will say I'm partial to the Eagle in Dayton. I'll just leave it at that. I have some fun. I have some fond memories of a snowstorm.
Wrestling in the parking lot of the Eagle.
No comment.
Snow angels, bare ass. Snow angels.
There you go. So yeah, that's all I got. Lex says he's got all the root beer and LGBTQ plus comics to get through. This is a very bumpy 4 years. So you and me both.
So you should know this piece of trivia. I'm not going to be able to fill in all the blanks. Maybe Lex will know. So I believe there is a trans wedding. Is it a trans wedding in DC or Marvel? Or is it a gay wedding?
There was a gay wedding in Marvel, but I don't know about trans.
But it's brand new though. This is not the one from a few years ago. This one is. It happens in the pages. They don't talk about it as if it happened back there. But there's some news.
Are Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy getting married?
No, I don't know, but they totally should, because I love that. I love them two together. Them two.
Them two.
Is that high school education? That's that North Carolina education working for you right there.
Education.
Education.
Well, you can look that up for next week's episode. How's that?
So one of the reasons I brought up the whole new season of White Lotus is that there's this one family that is on this season, and they're from North Carolina. And the mother from the family, their whole thing is like, I went to Chapel Hill and her husband went to Duke, and yet they still fell in love. And I think that's such a regional specific thing.
I don't think it's. I think you'd be remiss not to mention who's playing that character.
Well, Parker Posey is,
and we love us some Parker Posey.
Like, I was like, okay, I don't care what else happens on this season. If she's in it and she's playing a character from North Carolina, girl, I am in.
And she's the one that went to Chapel Hill, right?
She's the one that went to Chapel Hill. And like, we can't forget her phenomenal North Carolinian accent from The Staircase. She was so good in that.
Oh, The Staircase. We talked about that in one episode, didn't we?
We did, for sure.
Oh my goodness. I love me some Parker Posey. That's fantastic. I am watching White Lotus. I got to say, I'm a little bored. I need some things to kind of happen. Are we like 3 episodes in now? And like, come on, we need to start making things happen.
Well, White Lotus is always a slow burn.
Yeah. I have a theory though. The robbery that took place, we can talk about it offline. I won't talk about it here because I don't want to, spoil anything for anybody, but I have a theory about that. So
yeah.
So anyway, shall we head on out to the front porch for a minute?
Let's do it for a hot minute.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up where the fuck is it?
It's on the front porch.
Did I close it? I might have closed the wrong one. Oh well.
This is our first episode, y'all.
Oh, there it is. All right, never mind. I just didn't scroll down far enough. I see now.
Mm-hmm.
There. What was it worth the wait? Was it worth the wait?
Yes. Yes.
The build up, honey. The drama.
If White Lotus only moved that fast, Rick would be happy.
The whole season will be over in 3 episodes.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. I do have a question though. I think this is fine to talk about. Who do you think is floating in the water from the first episode in the opening scene? Remember when
the sun shows up? Yeah.
Yep. I would scream if it's what's her name from season 1 and 2.
Well, okay, look, I already said they need to bring her back this season as like her own twin sister who's like investigating her sister's death. So maybe Walton Goggins. Like, I feel like who I love. I think he's an amazing actor. I love him. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. His Southern accent is thick as molasses, and I love it. Of course, he doesn't
he played a trans character in Sons of Anarchy too, right?
Yes, I love him. I love everything he does.
So
maybe
is he gay in season 1? And I asked that because the blonde woman whose name is escaping me in this minute, she thinks it's one of the 2 boys.
So, no, he's not in season 1.
Oh, okay. So what's her name?
Jennifer Coolidge?
Yes. So she said on some interview she thought it was one of the gay boys was floating.
What, the gay boys, plural? There's like 1, right? And we don't even know.
Well, I thought she said boys, so
I don't even know if that's what's going on.
I don't think we've met any gay, outwardly gay characters yet.
Isn't there a gay couple in season 1?
In season 1?
Well, in season 1, yes, but are you saying she's saying season 1 characters are showing up in season 3?
No, she is saying that somebody asked her on some show who she thought was dead and floating in the water, and she said one of the gay boys.
Well, see, the only people, none of the characters go from season to season to season. Every season, it's basically a whole new cast.
But Rick asked about the person floating in season 1 in the water, right?
No, season 3 in the opening.
Oh, I thought you said season 1.
Well, that's the thing is, like, every season they have a dead body floating in the water somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So it can very easily happen. Oh, Lex answered your question, Dan. He said last year it was Mystique and Destiny who got married.
Got you. Thank you.
Who is Destiny? I know who Mystique is, but I'm trying to think who is Destiny.
The wife.
Very good, Anel.
It will not affect my ability to do good hair.
Nobody move! My contact. Oh, here we go.
Lord.
It started. It has started.
Put Jack back in the box and close the lid and send it right. My goodness.
I think, well,
Well,
Yes.
don't stick out. Don't spoil her.
that's why I'm wondering, should I?
Spoiler.
Well, it's just guessing. Yeah, you're right. So Natasha Rothwell's character,
Oh, you think?
I do, just because of his reaction, and that's her son, right? I assume it's her son. They never clarified it, but I assume it is.
And she's already said, like, my son's coming to join me. And oh, you think it's her? I hope it's not her.
I do too, but that was who I thought of at first.
Well,
I was like, I'd be very sad about that.
I would
I'd be mad. I'd be flipping tables if that happens.
Of course, it could be the father from North Carolina because he's going through it right now.
There's something happening, and I'm waiting for that to kind of all come out. So, and Miss Parker Posey, Miss Mom, she is so tightly wound that when she snaps, it's going to be epic.
Honey, when that prescription runs out, or the husband starts taking them all,
that you better watch out. That's
you
right.
better watch out, honey.
Oh, Lex says Destiny civilian identity Irene Adler, a blind mutant with precog abilities. That's what I thought. Like that with a name like Destiny, you think that she's got some kind of precognitive ability, and she is able to accurately predict future events. So, love it. So, all right. What's everybody talk about one happy thing that's happened to you this week? It's been a shitty ass week at work, but we got to find one happy thing that's happened.
Cool. It is Monday.
Last week then. Last week then.
I found my way to work every day.
Well, there is that. Usually when you wake up on the side of the road in a ditch somewhere, you're like, well, at least I know I can get where I need to go.
I'm close to one of my clients at some point.
This week is pay week.
Oh, well, there you go.
There we go. And it's not rent check pay week, so that's always a bonus.
bonus. Oh, it's Amazon paycheck week. I see how this works.
It's bill paycheck, you know.
I was telling Dan, for another podcast that I do, had an interview this morning with this couple from Louisiana, and I absolutely fell in love with them. And they run a film festival called Cinema on the Bayou, and they asked me if I would like to come and be a part of their panel next year as one of their jury members, and I was like, I would absolutely love that. And so that was, I was very happy to actually receive that offer. So
that's lovely. That has nothing to do with your job.
No, nothing to do with the job, but it really did make my day, and I actually love talking to them. Most of my interviews last about 30 to 40 minutes. These guys, we went well past an hour, and I could have sat and talked another 3. It was just that amazing.
What good happened to you at work was your question to us. And then
I didn't say at work. I said this week. What good happened this week?
Did you say
did
at
I?
Work?
What did I say at work?
I said go to started.
I was concentrating on eating a nut.
I mean, it's the little things, right?
We'll just let that
I'm gonna let that be. I
like the hairless one better.
Okay, well, there we go.
This was lovely. Thanks so much for joining, everybody.
Lex wants us to come to his show and learn all about everything indie and Marvel and DC. I'm all in. Let's do it. So, all right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining, and it's been lovely. And we will see you next week on Queer Magnolias Live.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.